am Renu Sharma, Assistant Professor, EC Department. Today I am going to start with the next lecture, that is related to remote logging and electronic mail. So, in case of remote logging, we are dealing with that we are not manually operating any device that is connected in a network. We are operating by from a distance, that is known as remote logging, and also we are going to discuss the electronic mail, that is email, that is very common to transfer any text message or to transfer any type of data. We are using the electronic mail. So, in case of this remote logging, it would be impossible to write a specific client or server program for each demand. So, the better solution is a general purpose client server program that lets a user access any application on a remote computer. So, what is first we will discuss what is client server. So, client server is first one is the transmitter and other one is the receiver. Like in any network, let us say this is a network which is having n number of nodes, and here I am taking an example as 4 nodes are connected in a particular this network. Like this one is the first node, this is the second node, this is the third node, this is the fourth node. So, one of this node will act as a client and other will act as a server. Server means this is the transmitter and this will be the receiver. So, any of this client, like this is client 1, this is client second and this is client third. So, these are the 3 clients which are connected to a single server. So, whenever any application or any device, any client wants to access any device that is connected to this server, now it will going to ask for a particular connection that has to be set up between the client and server, then the information will be transmitted. So, this is the procedure of client server program. So, it is not every time possible to write a specific client server program for each demand. So, the better solution is that in that condition we are going to remote logging that particular device which we want to operate, which we want to access. So, that is the introduction of remote logging. Now, these are the diagram, like first one is the local remote logging and second one is the local and other one is the remote logging. Now, what is local login and what is remote login? In case of local login, as you can see, this is shown in this diagram. A terminal is connected to this there are application program and there is a operating system, and this operating system will consist of a terminal driver which will going to access different applications which are which we want to access, like a printer will be connected or any other device. Different applications are there, like telnet is there, X.25 service is there, or DNS domain name server. So, these are the different services or the applications which are going to operate at this point, and this particular operating system wants to access these applications. So, this is the local login procedure. Now, next one is the remote login procedure. Now, you can see over here that the main use of is the internet. Like if I want to access any device which is not directly accessible, so I want to access that particular device from a remote area, means which is far apart. So, that will be done with the use of internet. So, you can see that what is the procedure to transmit the information, like this is the terminal, this is the terminal driver which will going to access with the telnet client, and there are different layers which are TCP IP layer, data link layer, physical layer. So, these are the layers through which the packet will be transmitted and the frame will be formed. Now, this frame will going to travel over the internet and it will be received at the physical layer, then data link layer, IP and TCP. So, this is the procedure that how the information will be transmitted from this point to this point, and then this will be the pseudo terminal driver which will have an access to this application program. Now, you can see like in the above diagram, if you are going to compare, so it is a combination of this part and this part. These different layers are related to the internet. So, these are incorporated in this remote logging. So, this is the basic difference between local login and remote login. Now, next is the concept of NVT. NVT is related to the remote login. So, in this case there is a terminal which is going to connect which is connected to this telnet client, and then through this internet there will be a telnet service server, and then to this server there will be a pseudo terminal driver. So, driver will be there, which means we can access different applications which is connected to this at the server point. Now, there will be a data character and a control character, which means that any frame which has a 0 in its header, then it will act as a data character, and any frame which has 1 at its header, so it will act as a control character. So, this is a local computer character set, this is NVT character set, and this is remote computer character set. So, this part will act as a remote login area, this will act as a NVT character set, and this will act as a remote computer character set. So, this is how the concept of NVT is there, which means there are two types of characters that you can transmit. Either you can transmit the data signal, or you can transmit the control signal. In case of control signal, we are transmitting the synchronization information, we are transmitting any control information, header path, trail bits, these information are used as a control signal, whereas data character is only having the information that you want to transfer from client to server or server to client. Now, this is the table which is showing that different characters are incorporated with the decimal equivalent of each of this character is shown over here, and then from decimal to binary it is converted, and this is the full form of these characters. Like this is end of file, which means whatever I am transmitting the information, I have to first signify the receiver that where this particular file has started and where it has ended. Another is end of record will be there. So, this will be the decimal and this will be the binary conversion. Now, next one will be the sub option end, which means it will be converted from SE, this is the decimal and this is the binary equivalent part. Now, there will be a no operation, then DM will be there, that is data mark. Then there will be a break operation, that is denoted by BRK. So, these are the different characters that you can incorporate, that you can transmit in your frame form structure for the remote login purpose. Now, this is an example of embedding. Embedding means typed at the remote terminal. So, whatever file you want to access, you have to insert that particular data in this frame. Now, you can see that there is this word is written, then file name is there, then IAC will be there, that is related to the authentication, then EC and 1, which means this is a character control character, which means I am transmitting the control signal. So, this is the diagram which is showing the embedding example. Now, the next figure which shows an example of option negotiation. In this example, the client wants the server to echo each character sent to the server, which means that whatever data which has been transmitted from client to server, it has to be echo back to the client, so that it has to be echoed to the server, so that it can listen to whatever it is transmitted from client to the server. Now, the echo option is enabled by the server, because it is the server that sends the character back to the user terminal. User terminal is nothing, it is the client. Then therefore, the client should request from the server the enabling of option using the DO. DO is a character whose full form is written in that particular table which I have shared. Now, the request consists of 3 characters, that is IAC, DO and echo. Then the server accepts the request and enables the option. So, it informs the client by sending the 3 character approval, that is IAC, WILL, that is will, and then echo. So, what this example says, it shows an diagram in which the client wants the server to echo back the particular character that has been sent to the receiver, that it wants an acknowledgement that whatever I have transmitted, it has to be echo back. Now, this is a procedure where different characters has to be inserted in a particular frame format. So, after that there will be 3 characters will be transmitted, that one is IAC, then will and echo. Now, this is the diagram which is explaining which is explained in that particular example. Like this is the client, this is the server. So, do enable the echo option. If I want to access a particular echo, if I want that client wants that server will echo whatever I have transmitted. So, this is the procedure like echo, do and IAC. So, in the reverse I will enable the echo option. So, that means IAC will echo. So, this will giving an acknowledgement that whatever you have asked for to echo back, it will be echoed. This is the example which is shown in this diagram. Now, next we will move to the next part of this lecture, that is electronic mail. So, electronic mail, email is very common since the internet has started, because initially we are not accessing the internet, we are not accessing the different apps that are available on the internet, we are just using the internet for transferring the data, and likewise the transferring of the data requires larger number of bits than the allotment of the bandwidth has been increased. So, email is the very initial application of the internet, where we are transferring the mail, as the name itself suggests, electronically we are transferring the data that is majorly consist of the text. Then you can transfer the movie, you can transfer a song, you can transfer any other file, but initially it is used to transfer any written important message. So, one of the most popular internet services is electronic mail, in short it is known as email. The designers of the internet probably never imagined the popularity of this application program. So, whenever it was designed, then the designer could not have imagined that this particular application, because in case of TCP IP model or the OSI model, this particular application will be installed or will be used at the 7th layer, that is the application layer. Like there are 7 layers of OSI model, that is physical layer, then data link layer, network layer, transport, session, presentation and application. So, likewise at the receiver side this will be same repeated. So, this will be the transmitter side, this will be the receiver side, and this will be the channel through which the information will be transmitted. So, this will be the channel, from here the information will be transmitted and here it will be received. Now, you can see that, you can imagine that the email option or the application will be accessible at this point only, that is the 7th layer of the OSI model, application layer. So, that is electronic mail. There are different scenarios. I am going to discuss 4 scenarios in email, that how the data will be transmitted. Like in this first scenario, this is the user agent. User agent means this will be the transmitter side and this will be again user agent and this will be the receiver side. So, always I am taking an example of Alice and Bob. So, this Alice wants to send an email to this Bob through a system. Now, this system is a centralized system which will act as an intermediate node through which the information will be transmitted, and these two systems, that is Alice and Bob, are connected to this system independently, means it has access to this system. Now, this every time it is not possible that Alice wants to transmit the data to this side, it is also possible that Bob wants to transmit the data to Alice also. So, that is the first scenario in email, that user agent which will be present in this Alice, means in this system there is an user agent is present and that will going to transfer the data from through this system to this Bob, to that user agent next one. So, this is the first scenario which is very simple. Concept like two systems, so who want to transmit the data, they are connected to a single system. Now, that system is a case you can consider of a LAN. LAN is a local area network which is installed in a single office in a very small area, where different computers are connected to a single device, that will act as a hub, and the information will be transmitted to hub and then it will be distributed to its destination. How the distribution process will be done? It will be done by considering the source address and the destination address. So, these addresses are being incorporated in the frame that is required to transfer the data. So, this is the source address, this is the destination address. So, from here whenever any device is being connected to a network, it has their own physical address. Every computer has its own physical address, which is a unique address, and that will act as a source and destination address. So, this will going to decide that means this system will going to decide that which particular destination address is there, and it will be transferred to that particular device. Next one will be the second scenario in email. Second scenario is consisting of user agent and a message transfer agent, that is been known as MTA, that is a message transfer agent. So, in this diagram you can see that this is a user agent, there is an Alice which will act as a transmitter, and at the receiver side again Bob is there. Then the data will be transmitted like from this Alice, it will be transferred to this system mail server, and then through this internet, which will act as an intermediate node, because in the previous example, in first scenario we have seen that only single system is there, transmitter and receiver both are connected to this single system. But in this case, in this particular case, there are two systems are connected. Alice is connected to one system, Bob is connected to another system. Now, these two systems are communicated through internet, which will act as an intermediate node, and there is another additional agent is required, that is known as the message transfer agent, which will be present at the transmitter side, and message transfer agent which will be present at the receiver side. So, you can see that in this there is a stack of information will be there, that whatever data I want to transmit, it will be stacked in this particular table. First come first serve, this will be transferred first, this will be transferred second, this will be transferred third. So, whatever application or message I want to transfer, deliver it to the receiver side, then this stack operation will be followed. Then this particular frame will be formed, it will be transferred over the internet, and it will be received in this manner. This is the MTA server, these are the different files which will going to incorporate the particular data, and then it is received at the receiver side through Bob, that is user agent. Now, third scenario, this is nothing, it is the third scenario which you can see, which is a little more complex related to the first and second one. In this there is same thing is there, like this is system 1, this is system second, this is the mail server, this is the mail server, that means this is the client, this is the server part, and then there an additional requirement is there, that is here we require an MTA client and we require an MTA server, and here it is also we require a MTA server. Now, this is connected to your transmitter, or the client is connected through an LAN, that is a local area network, or WAN. If it is used in a large area distance, then it will be a part of a WAN. So, this is user agent, this is client, MTA client is there, MTA client will going to transfer the information to this MTA server, again an MTA client will going to transfer the information through to a server. So, every time you can see that whatever data will be transferred, it will be transferred from client to the server, means the request will be raised from client to server, then server will going to allow the process or allow the device to get access to that particular system. So, this is the third scenario. Now, you can see that this particular system is not directly connected to this system, it is connected through a LAN or WAN network, which means that there may be another like E will be there, which is having their own computer connected to this device. Then there is another person, let us say this is A, this is B, then C person is also connected to this device. So, there are multiple devices which is a part of, which makes a part of this LAN or WAN. So, that is the third scenario. Now, this is the fourth scenario in email. In this fourth scenario, you can see that both the transmitter and the receiver, like the client and the server, both are connected through WAN. So, this is the extended version of the previous diagram, like you can see that how the complexity of the email has increased from first scenario to fourth scenario. First scenario is very simple, there is only one system to which different computers are connected, two computers are connected. Second, from the second scenario, internet plays a very important role. Two devices are connected through internet. In the third scenario, LAN and WAN comes into the picture, which means that more than one devices are connected, like this is device number A, this is device number B, it is connected to this one, this is device number C, this is connected to this LAN network. Now, here two server and client are there. In the previous example, there is no requirement of MAA, server is there. Now, MAA is the new agent, that is the message access agent, which is used in this fourth scenario. So, this is the system where this is MTA server is there, this is MTA client, and there is a stack of information, like the data will be transferred from this one to this one and this one. So, the stack of information is there. Now, you can see that this particular concept at the transmitter side is not used at the receiver side. Here a table is being formed which has their own rows and columns. So, data will be transferred in these tables, and then it will be accessed using this message access agent, and it will be delivered to Bob, which is connected to the LAN. Here also, like let us say this is D, another network will be connected, this is E, another network will be connected. So, this is how different networks will be connected to this Bob, and the data will be transferred to this point. UA is again the user agent, which is same from the first scenario till the fourth scenario, and also Alice and Bob are the two person which are connected through LAN to this network. So, if I am going to conclude this particular email, email is a very you can say very important and very and the earlier application of internet. Email is a very basic application that is used to transfer the data or any other images, pictures, audio, videos. So, any other data you want to transmit, you can use email, first thing. Secondly, what are the different procedures, that how the two devices are connected in a system, that how they can transfer the data. So, there are 4 scenarios are divided. In first scenario, only a single system will be there, there is no use of MAA agent will be there, MAA client or server application is required, no use of LAN or WAN. That is a very simplest form of scenario. In the second scenario, there is an internet comes into the picture when two devices are not close to each other, they are connected to different networks. So, internet comes into the picture and the data will be transferred through this internet. Now, in the third scenario, the one device will be connected to the LAN, that is which means it is a extended network will be there, and in this case it is also connected to another device, that is another extended version, that is D and E. So, this is Bob. So, this is the that will be the third scenario. In the fourth scenario, there will be both the devices are connected to the extended network, that is B and C, and this is the third scenario. In the fourth scenario, you can see that MTA server and client is required and MAA server and client are required. So, MTA server and client are going to transfer the information over here, then from client to server it is again transferred, then from server to server, that is then message access agent, this will be transferred to this Bob. So, this is how the data will be transferred in the fourth scenario. In the before email, I have discussed about remote logging. In remote logging, when you want to access or you want to transfer any data, that is a client server architecture, then remote logging is required. When you are not going to access the data directly, it requires some use of some layered architecture. So, this is the diagram which has showed about the local login, and then the remote login will be shown. In this case, there are different layers are connected to from the transmitter side to the receiver side. So, this is how the data will be transferred. This is telnet client and this is the telnet server, that is the application program. So, there are different applications that can be accessed at this 7th layer, like I want to transmit that is a telnet will be there, and email can be there, DNS will be there, or X.25 is there. So, these are the different models or the applications which are going to run at the receiver side. Now, next we have discussed about concept of NVT, where data character and control character are used. In case of this data character, you can see when the header is headed by 0, then data character will be used, and when header is headed by 1, then the control character will be used. So, that is the local computer character set, this is the remote computer character set, and this is the concept of NVT character set through which the internet is connected. Then we have seen this table where different characters are defined, like end of the file, end of the record. So, you can add that particular data in the frame and you can transmit the data from client to server. Then we have discussed about the email. So, these are the references that you can consider for these two topics. Thank you.